Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. It is once again time to go over the future of the DCEU. And it pains me to say this is my last time doing this. No, I'm not giving up YouTube. No, this is the end of the DCEU. As of this recording, today, James Gunn announced the new slate for the DCU and basically kind of announced that this is it for the DCEU. They're going to let the movies that are coming out in 2023 play out, and then they're starting fresh with a new slate of new movies, and this is it. I might do a moratorium on this at the end of the year, the DCEU and how it came and where it came from and all that fun stuff. And next year will be the future of the DCU. So we'll see where that goes from here. But it's very interesting, and this has been one of my favorite videos to do every year because this universe has been so unhinged that it's kind of fun to see how much changes. I've mentioned it before that the MCU is such a machine now that they only not come out with one movie. Everything else that they've announced, they've come out with. And the DCEU has just been I don't know, whatever, throw stuff at the wall, let's see what happens. Let's put this into production, let's put that in production. I made the joke every year, I'd do a list of everything that's currently in production, and it would just be this random weird list of movies. And, just to see what would come to fruition. And it's, done. It's it. This crazy universe is over. I'm glad to see some more stability to actually watching the movies and seeing stuff being actually planned out. But I do miss a little bit of the craziness that we'll get, but we'll see what happens. So as per tradition, here's a quick view of my current ranking of all the DCEU movies. Now with that said, let's get into the final four DCEU movies.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
So the first thing we're getting is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. What we know is it's once again directed by David F. Sandberg, who of course did the first Shazam movie, be starring Zachary Levi as Shazam, Asher Angel as Billy Batson, Jack Dylan Grazer as Freddie Freeman, Djimon Hounsou as the Wizard Shazam. Of course, we have the rest of the Shazam family returning. I don't want to go over all those. And we're getting introduced to Rachel Zegler's Athena, Helen Mirren's Hespera, and Lucy Liu's Calypso. So here is the synopsis that I found online. When Billy Batson and his foster siblings, who transform into superheroes by saying Shazam, are forced to get back into action and fight the Daughters of Atlas, they must stop them from using a weapon that could destroy the world, in which they must travel in order to make peace with the gods because Billy is taking their powers for granted. So, yeah, it's an interesting continuation to Shazam. I think it's going to come down to Billy basically abusing his powers, being a stupid kid with them, as he would be, and, being real goofy, and just basically the gods getting mad at that, because obviously he's borrowing the powers from the gods when he says Shazam to become Shazam. It'll be very interesting. So I think they're ignoring the Mr. Mind little teaser that we got in the first movie. We're not getting Black Adam, which is 100% the problem with this universe, and hopefully will be fixed, is that Black Adam just came out a few months ago, and he is Shazam's main villain, and there's absolutely no tie-in into Black Adam with this. Nothing at all. No teases, no anything as far as we understand. The Rock refused to actually do a cameo in this, so yeah, it's a really weird situation, which is kind of that. I think we're gonna see a punch up with Shazam and these gods. I think it'll be pretty fun, but I feel like it looks a little basic. I enjoyed the first one a lot. It's one of my favorite DCEU movies. So, I hope they continue it and make it fun. But yeah, I think we're going to miss some follow-up for things they sort of set up. But that's okay. And yeah, so this is the current end of Shazam. Hopefully, I don't know, they might bring some of these actors back to reprise their roles in the new universe. Who knows? But yeah, Shazam.
The Flash.
So maybe, finally, possibly, this movie is coming out. This movie I've talked about numerous times on this annual episode that I do. Back in my first initial one, talking about how Batman v Superman is going to go, I mentioned the Flash movie and when it's coming out. That was like 8 years ago, something like that. And now we're finally getting it, maybe? I mean, it really does feel like they're going to go ahead and put this out. They made it, it's there, just put it out and see what happens. So kind of what I've already gone over last year and previous years, but once again, it'll be directed by Andy Masciuti, who directed It. It'll be starring Ezra Miller as The Flash, Michael Keaton as Batman, supposedly Michael Shannon's Zod, and supposedly Ben Affleck's Batman, Sasha Calle as Supergirl, Ron Livingston as Henry Allen, and finally Kirstie Clemens as Iris West. And here's the synopsis that I found. Barry Allen, the Flash, travels back in time to prevent his mother's murder, which brings unintended consequences to his timeline. So first, after everything that Ezra Miller's done and the craziness with the movie and the delay and anything, does anyone still want this movie? Like, I'm gonna see it. I'm a comic book guy. I'm gonna see it. But, like, I don't really want this anymore. So it'll be interesting. They're basically doing the Flashpoint timeline. I've talked about this before. However, the new information, at least from James Gunn's video, is that this is resetting the universe. This will be the point from which the DCEU splits off and just becomes the DCU. Now, if you're looking at the length of this video, you know there's a couple more movies after this. How that ties into it, I have no idea. But yeah, he basically said this is going to reset the universe. So I think they're going to do what the New 52 kind of did and use Flashpoint as a point to restart everything and clean up this universe. So if it does that, great. I also heard a new rumor that they cut all after credit scenes that teased any other characters, because obviously this is the end of the universe. So, that'll be interesting. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, The Flash, I guess it's still coming out.
Blue Beetle.
Now the one I'm most excited for from the DCEU, Blue Beetle. Very interesting character. I love this character. So it's going to be directed by Angel Manuel Soto, who did Charm City Kings. Never seen it. And I'll be starring Zolo Maridunia. I really butchered that, I'm sure. Playing the titular Blue Beetle. Bruna Markenzie as Penny. Raul Trujillo as Carpax the Indestructible Man. And Susan Sarandon as Victoria Cord. Interesting. The synopsis I have is Mexican-American teenager Jaime Reyes gains superpowers when a mysterious scarab bands to his spine and provides him with a powerful suit of alien armor. So I think this is going to be a pretty basic superhero origin, or at least the origin of Blue Beetle himself, because no one knows Blue Beetle. This is a really lesser known character, and so they really need to do that. It's going to be really cool because it'll be mostly a Latino cast, and it'll be a Latino superhero, which is always awesome. I still not 100% sure this movie's coming out just because of what they did with Supergirl. However, James Gunn specifically talked about this movie in his little video, so I do think they're going to put it out. Why? I don't know, because if this is part of this dying universe, then that's it. I guess you get this one movie, and sucks if you enjoyed it. You never get any more of it. I mean, we've been in that camp before because Punisher Warzone was freaking awesome, and we never got more of that either. So I guess shit happens. However, there is a theory. I personally had this one prior to the James Gunn announcement, and it might still be a thing, but that this is the first new movie of this new universe, and this is the character they're starting out with. That would be really interesting because it'd be following a little bit of the DCEU, or sorry, it'd be following more of the MCU style, where it's a kind of lesser known character to kind of build him up and solidify this universe. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. I after James Gunn's announcement, I really don't think this is part of the new universe. I think they're just gonna get this out there because it's made, and just get it out there and get it done, and that's where we're at.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
And finally, the final DCEU movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. This is it, folks. So it'll be directed once again by James Wan, who directed the first Aquaman. It'll be starring Jason Momoa as the titular Aquaman, Willem Dafoe as Numerous Vulko, Patrick Wilson as Ocean Master, Dolph Lundgren as King Nereus, and Yahya Abdul Mateen II as Black Manta. So here's a synopsis I found. Aquaman forges an uneasy alliance with an unlikely ally in a bid to save Atlantis and the rest of the world. So, like I said, this is it for the DCEU. This is Jason Momoa's last movie as Aquaman. He is possibly going to be Lobo, which would be awesome. There's also talks that he's still going to be Aquaman. I don't quite believe that, because I really think they want to start fresh with this new universe. I think they're going to do some stuff to tie it into The Flash. Maybe this is going on at the same time as The Flash, because chronologically or canonically, The Flash is the last movie, because there's no way that this is resetting the universe, or maybe this finally shows the universe resetting. I don't know. It's going to be very confusing. We'll see what happens. This is the one I think people are talking about when they mentioned they removed all the character after credit scenes, because this one had Ben Affleck Batman and Michael Keaton Batman as both like optional after credit scenes. Again, this universe is an entire mess, and I think they scrapped all of them. I think basically Jason Momoa is being Aquaman, being awesome, and he has to team up with, I'm going to assume the Uneasy Alliance is with Ocean Master, against something that Black Manta is cooking up. I say that because Black Manta really took a back seat in the first movie, and so I think they want to put him front and center in this one and be the main bad guy. Obviously we'll see. First Aquaman was surprisingly good. Wasn't my favorite, but it was best you could ever hope from for an Aquaman movie. So there's that. It was pretty fun. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit of a buddy movie, and just some kind of a fun little romp. So we'll see where we go with that. And that's it. Like I said, that's the end of the DCEU. If you guys want to see me do a moratorium on this at the end of the year, let me know in those comments below. Or if you want me to talk about more in depth of what James Gunn is planning and what he's announced, also let me know. But of course, next year around this time, I'll be doing the future of the DCU, my first time ever doing that. And yeah, very interesting stuff. I'm glad this universe is getting on track. I'd love to see a better planned out, more interesting DC universe than these random kind of movies we've been getting, with like no direction, and very obviously no direction. Although again, I'm gonna miss kind of the insanity of them just announcing random movies constantly and then just disappearing into the ether. That was always kind of fun to see. So yeah, let me know what movie you're most looking forward to in the comments below, and hit that thumbs up, and go ahead and subscribe if you feel like it. But I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.